Thank you once again to all of our sponsors, panelists, and presenters. At this time, we'd like to do another special presentation on behalf of the coordinators, Professor Adrian Trebs of the Carnivore Coexistence Lab from the University of Wisconsin, who was a big part of coordinating our science portion, and Jody Havish-Sinekin. She was also very instrumental in helping to coordinate this by getting speakers from the media and from the politicians and law portion, and from on behalf of Friends of the Wisconsin Wolf, the executive director, Melissa Smith, and the other people who couldn't be here would be Sandra Skinaway. She unfortunately has a cold that's going around, so she couldn't be here with us this evening. Her and I were the tribal liaisons responsible for getting endorsements and whatnot, and tribal reps and the government people to be here. So we have a plaque that we'd like to present to the Ho-Chunk Nation. So if we could have my Area 2 legislators come on up. Henning Garvin, who you got to speak earlier. Thank you again there, little brother. We'll have David Greendeer, also one of our legislators. Andrea Estebo, come on up. And we also have my Jaji, which is a dad. He's him and my father call each other brother. He's the executive director of our heritage preservation. If he could also come up. We have a plaque here that we'd like to present. I'll give this to my Jaji, Robert Mann, as he is the elder of our group of people here represented. He's also, like I said, the executive director of our heritage preservation. He's going to be doing a little speaking on behalf of the nation. Briefly, quick talk. But this is from Friends of the Wisconsin Wolf for the Ho-Chunk Nation. And unfortunately, Marlis White Eagle, Ho-Chunk member and elder, we have a gift for her, but she was unfortunately couldn't be here today. She was here yesterday, but she was also very instrumental in helping us to gain a grant from the tribe, to a very generous grant to sponsor this conference. A lot of work was done for this, and my legislators, my Area 2 legislators, have always been very supportive of our organization, the Friends of the Wisconsin Wolf, and anytime I ask anything of them, even personally as my relatives, they're always there for me, and as legislators, they do a great job, and we really appreciate their time and their efforts to make all of our endeavors possible. So we have some blankets that Jody has got together, and I thought that was really nice of her to want to do something like this. It's also very culturally appropriate, to do gift giving, as I explained earlier. So it was a very big surprise to me that, well, she's a very great person and very giving person. So, I mean, I just thought it was really nice of her. And then when she said that she had blankets, I just was like, oh, wow, she must have had interaction with our Ho-Chunk people before. So they have some blankets they'd like to present. Yeah. Henning Garvin. David Greendeer. Andrea Estebo. And we'll be passing our gift on to Marlis White Eagle. She's also lives in the Madison area, so I'll make sure that she gets her gift. And we're going to have Robert Mann speak on behalf of the Ho-Chunk Nation here briefly.
Thank you, son. I want to greet each and every one of you today. It's good to see all of you here. I'm really honored here by giving this plaque. It means a lot to me and to our Department of Heritage Preservation. When I talk about heritage preservation, it covers a lot of aspects of the Ho-Chunk Nation. One of those aspects is, of course, our language and our culture. Those things are our priority. They come first. And a lot has been said here. I heard a lot already just the short time I've been here. A lot of things, good things have been said. There's a lot of people here that are so-called experts in their field. And I appreciate that they're here. Growing up, I had my father, my grandfathers, my elders that were my experts. They taught me a lot of things. And one of the things they taught me was values. And our values are very important in whatever we do. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't share all those same values maybe as I do. And but they're mine. They're my values. Nobody can take them away from me. And that's the way I believe. And one of the things that they taught me about was the respect for our four-legged animals. They're a very important part of our culture. And those four-legged animals, they call them hunumbamani, and that's the four-legged ones. And those are, like I said, those are very important. And it covers a lot. There's a lot of them. And this particular one we're talking about here, call it the shumjunk, it's a wolf. And this wolf is very, very important. They call it, the white man calls it a predator. It's out there to destroy other animals and whatnot. We as human beings, I also consider a lot of them predators their own selves. They destroy each other. I've seen that before too. Unfortunately, it's not very pleasant. But these are the things that I've been taught, and I'll share a brief story with you. I know we talked about hunting before. I've heard that mentioned a couple of times. When I was quite younger, I was out hunting with my father and my brothers. And I saw something coming through the woods. I was on a deer stand, and I saw something coming through the woods. And I looked, I raised my gun, I thought it was a deer. And as it got closer, then I looked, I said, no, that's not a deer. And I looked, and here it was a wolf. It came out into the opening, I seen it, just stood there. And then it heard the driver, so it stopped, and it looked behind itself. And that wolf just kept coming straight toward me. And it just kept turning and looked behind it. And it did that about 3-4 times. And it came right to me. I mean, I could have reached down and touched it. That's how close he was. And he stopped right next to me. And I was always told to respect that when I was hunting. I wasn't hunting wolf. I was hunting deer. And I told that wolf that. I said, I'm not here to harm you. I said, go on, it's okay. He just looked at me. He just stared right at me for a brief moment, and his eyes were just so beautiful. And he went behind me. So I turned around and I watched him. He went about 30 yards, he stopped. He turned around and looked at me, and it's like he gave me a nod of approval, and then he continued on his way. And I told my father that when we got done with that, and he said, well, at least you must have paid attention and listened to what I told you, he said. But he felt really good about that happened. And like I said, a lot of this, what we're talking about, involves not just the wolf, but it involves a lot of things in our values, in our beliefs, And one of those other things that we must do too, like I said, we talk about predators. We have to live in harmony. Harmony is the key to a lot of things, a lot of our issues. The Native Americans lived on this land since the beginning of time. That's what I was told. And during that time, everything we did was all oral. It was passed down from generation to generation, all these teachings and these things. And then the Europeans came, and that's when everything changed. That's when they started putting everything on paper, creating laws, and making it more complicated. And that's what my father told me too. He said, that's what the white man does. He said, they make things so complicated. He said, now we got all these laws, and he said, before we didn't have that. We just told what not to do that. Don't do this, don't do that. And that's how we, our values are, our culture. And I just wanted to share a little bit with you. So I really thank you for allowing me this time to speak. And I wanted to thank the District 2 legislators for their support in this conference and getting this thing going. I really appreciate the Office of the President allowing me to come as well. I thank you for your time, and I want to thank you for listening to me. Have a good day.
Huh?